you need to set up for your future self. Like, you need to think of like the future Nala and be like, you know what, she'd want to be comfortable too, and she would want to continue sending her parents money. I know that for a fact, because I don't feel like I'm changing anytime soon, you know. So that was the biggest purpose of this, and I felt so steady in my decision making through this, and financial just like maneuvering. I'm so thankful that I did what I did.
I have a quick question. If you went to your parents and you asked them, you said, you know, I have a choice. I can either quit doing all of this tomorrow, right, and go get a job for like a tenth of this, or I can continue to do this and send you money. Which one do you think they would ask? My mom would say, absolutely quit. My dad, he'd be like, oh my God, no, why would you ever quit? Your dad would say that? My dad would say that I send money to my dad so that he can be comfortable with their family. And he's a pastor? No, he's not a pastor anymore. They stopped being a pastor when I was like 18. Okay, but he was, and he retained his faith, right? He did. I'm his daughter, though. You know, I'm not just some stranger. He's like, you know what? If I want her in my life. Doesn't that make it worse? Like, wouldn't that make it worse? Not. Don't you have to accept your kids for who they are? No. What? And so what? No. So wait.
Guys, one mic at a time.
Are you just saying that, like, let's just say,
go ahead, I'll answer the question.
If you had a kid and they were doing OnlyFans, what, you just disown them because they made a bad decision?
Until they clean their life up, yeah.
You're a bad parent.
Wow, that's
my family would
absolutely
my family would 100% disown me.
Okay, well then, 100%. What about you're a bad kid?
No, okay,
we're allowed to make bad
guys, please. Yeah, you can. One person speaking at a time. Go ahead.
You can think your kid is bad. Go ahead. You can think your kid is bad and disagree with their life choices, sure. But as a parent, you're supposed to be like a guiding figure and a loving figure, and part of that is not abandoning them in their time of need. And if you want to talk about Christianity, if you want to talk about like God and Jesus and the countless stories there are in the Bible, like still accept.
I gotta respond to this. I gotta respond to this. Okay, listen. First of all, let's dive into this just a little bit. Okay, my daughter calls me up and she's like, "Hey, Dad, you know, I'm still going to be doing OnlyFans, but I'm kind of thinking about not doing it." Right? I would say, "Yes, absolutely, don't do it." In her situation, she's like, no, he would totally be cool with it.
You're saying you would disown your child. You're saying you would say, be gone, child.
What was the context? The context is until what?
The context was, we asked, the question was straightforwardly asked, if you found out your daughter had OnlyFans, what would you do?
And I said, until she cleaned up, I would not be participating with her or allow her in my life.
You said you would probably easier for them.
Why is that awful?
Because you're not supporting your child anymore.
Yeah, I'm not supporting bad, horrible decisions that they're making.
But you shouldn't disown
I'm making
them.
them face consequences.
A decision doesn't make them as a whole, though.
Yeah, the thing
you all know better. You literally told me you know for sure what you're doing is bad, and you're just going to do it anyway. And then you're like, Dad, support it. It's crazy.
Who said it's bad, though?
That's crazy.
Even what Nala said, she said her dad doesn't support. She might not support what she does, OnlyFans, whatever, but he's like, you know what, you're my daughter, and if that's what you want to do with your life, that doesn't mean I'm saying go fucking do that.
Yeah, but are you sure that this isn't just cope?
But I love you and I'm still gonna be in your life.
Are you sure that's not just cope because the same thing could happen to you?
Well, that's not true at all, though.
Yeah, isn't it though? Isn't it really cope? You're just upset because your parents might actually do this to you. They might make you feel the consequences of this, right?
Well, then let them. And then what? You're just an independent without parents that don't.
So if you don't care if they disown you, why would you say they're a bad parent?
No, of course I care.
I'm telling you about it.
One at a time.
Do you think your daughter would care if you abandoned her? Very simple.
It's not abandoning. You're abandoning an adult. An adult?
Yes, you can. There is no age that you can not abandon your child.
Stuck with your kids when they're 60 and making bad choices in your 80s?
You don't make bad decisions.
You don't have to say, okay, you don't have to say every decision they do is good. You don't have to support every decision they do. But that is very distinct than disowning your own child. And I hope we can all agree.
Do you know what a limit is?
Yeah, you're allowed to have limits.
Stop being so emotional and be logical for 5 seconds.
I am being logical.
Here, go ahead.
For me, so my mom, she's extremely Catholic. She grew up in the Philippines, like the only place where divorce is illegal. And she first found out, obviously there was a stagnation in our relationship. We're distant.
Hold up. You'll go right after this.
Alexa, the only sane one, as a tech PM, do you think big tech censors Brixton because he redirects real debates to get into 6-way of 304 fest fights, then complains, is part of it? He disagrees. Fight.
Wait, what?
What?
Do you think big tech censors Brian because he redirects real debates to get into 6-way OF
304
He's
fights.
criticizing you for stopping the debates to like be like, anyways, back to pastor's daughter. That's what he's saying.
We just needed a break.
You.
That was it. We're coming back to it though.
Well, the
part 2 is coming.
It was going on a while.
Like I said, we'll do a little intermission and we'll come back to the topic.
Can't talk about one topic.
Time permitted, of course, and obviously, like, if it was just a debate with you and Andrew, that'd be fine. But I do want to try to reel other people into the
For
conversation.
me, it's like, what if you committed adultery against your wife, and then your kid found out about that and disowned you because
should my wife abandon me? Should my wife abandon me when I commit adultery and do something she doesn't like?
I'm talking about the daughter.
No.
Is
Answer
it
my
right
question. Hang on. This
But
is
you
a
didn't answer
perfect.
my question.
My wife. So
is
my
it a question with a question?
Yeah. I'll answer.
okay.
So I'll answer. Then you answer. So the answer is yes.
Wait.
I would. But
Sorry. I did say that she could go. So I'm sorry, but go ahead.
So I was saying is I feel like, so me and my mom were distant, at a point when she found out, but then I feel like as a mother, like she just understands, one, from her for a Catholic perspective, it's not mine, it's that everyone has their own sins. She has no place to judge me because she has her own things. And then the other thing is she noticed, like when we're talking about bad life choices and your kid coming back when their life's cleaned up, my mom realized I was always just on a better path when I had her love in my life. Like when I was distant from her, then I was going further into things that she didn't want to see me in, because just having your parents' love is just kind of motivating. Having your parents' acceptance, any goal you have of your kid just doing better for themselves will be easier when they know that their parent loves them. Mm-hmm. Even if I don't support this, I don't want to hear about this, but I still love you. Maybe you barely talk to them every day, but okay, for me, I'm diabetic. Do you think my parents would never? They would never stop giving me insulin. I could have done anything in the world. They would always make sure I have my insulin. Yeah, like certain things. You see what I'm saying? I know that's a different extreme, but it's kind of like
it's like
Doc Vinably donated $200. If my daughter did that means I failed her as a father. She would do it only if I am dead or in jail. Your fathers are morally weak men.
They are morally weak men.
I guess, could I ask you, who do you think is the example?
Well, I mean, you can say fuck you, but he's right. Look, the chatter's right.
Can I ask you a question first?
Hang on, let me finish my point.
Because he thinks your father.
I'm going to tell you, right? You do have to be a morally weak man if they know. Like in your case, maybe not, because your dad doesn't know. Okay, but a lot of people that I've talked to here, their dads do know, and they're just like,
but we're adults.
My dad doesn't like it.
We're adults. We're able to make our own decisions.
My dad doesn't like it.
Just let me finish the point. I'm almost done. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a moral weakness to say, I will enable you. I will enable you to do this threshold breaking thing, especially from a Christian perspective. It's insane. I don't know why anybody would do it. I would say, listen.
You know why? Because real Christians love everyone.
So then why not just make everything permissible?
I love the fact that you're like, I'll disown my daughter. That's not.
So everything's permissible.
I didn't think
there's a difference between
deleting someone is not permissible.
No, okay, but all social behaviors, all sexual behaviors, all everything, Christians must permit that.
Who's the example in Christianity for
Answer
parenting?
the question.
Ask him that. Who in Christianity?
I didn't even get an answer to my question.
I'm asking you the question. Is all forms of sexual behavior something which are supposed to be permissible to Christians?
I don't think it should be permissible. I think that you should love no matter what.
So then if it's not permissible, then I'm not giving permission, which means I'm not endorsing it, which means I'm not allowing it, which means I'm totally against it.
But if your kid is an adult, why do you have to allow them to do something?
What do you? I'm not allowing them to.
He would disown. The question I have for you.
What are you talking about?
Who in Christianity is the example for parenting? Who is it?
You mean in which context? Which saints are you talking about?
What?
I'm talking about
There's saints which you can look to as examples in parenting.
Who do you look to as the example for parenting?
As the example inside of Christianity?
Yeah.
Of course, I look at Jesus.
One sec.